Hi there, my name's Marissa Moore and I am a photographer and I run my own business, and so I am here to talk to you today about that, and I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you learn a little bit more about photography and just little ins and outs of running your own business. I know it's a lot of information and you're not going to learn it all during this, but I do hope this is helpful. An average day for me is always different because there are so many parts that go into photography and you're having to play so many different characters and wear so many different hats. How this process works is someone will email me or call me and they'll ask for an inquiry, and they're just wanting to know how much it costs to get me to come take photos of them. And so usually that will start off with emails back and forth or text messages back and forth. We will set a day and time and location that works best for my client, and then on that day I will meet with them, and usually it's about an hour session. Occasionally it's shorter, occasionally it's 2 hours. But then a typical shooting day for me, I'll go meet the client and then we'll shoot photos in the location of their choosing. And so really it's just the client is interacting and I'm coaching them through certain poses and certain things that I think look good. And so that's what a typical shooting day is like. Then once I shoot the photographs, after that I'll go home and I'll work on them for the next week or two. Then I'll move into editing their photos. And so how I edit their photos is all I have to do is have my laptop, have my camera, have my SD card, and I'll just take out my SD card and then I'll use some attachments that I have and I'll put it into my computer, and then I'll just upload them onto my computer. And I always be sure to back them up because you just never know if an SD card's gonna be reliable or not. I'll import the photos into a program called Lightroom, and that's where I do the editing process and the filtering through photos. And so it's really a fun process. It's really where I get to see the photos come into the vision that I had while I was shooting them. And so it's me really getting to pick and choose how I want to edit them, what I want the mood to be, and what I want to bring out in the photo. And so for me, it's really a very hands-on part, and I get really excited during this process. So I'm going to show you guys a few of these photos before and after, and what the difference looks like. And some of these photos, there's a self-portrait of myself. There's some photos I took in Paris, and then there's a nature photo and also some wedding photos that I recently took, just to give you guys an idea of all the different kinds of photographs that you can take. In photography, there are so many routes that you can go. You can go landscape, you can go portrait, you can go into photographing products for companies, or architectural, or just artistic. If you're wanting to be an artist and enter those into galleries, you can get really creative with all of this. I wanted to show you guys those and just kind of the difference. And I'll go in and I'll work with the lighting and the contrast, the exposure, the coloring, and the temperature of the photo. But a lot of the lighting is dependent on how I shoot it during my time taking the photographs of the client. And then coming into Lightroom, I can just kind of tweak them to the way that I saw them in my head and I wanted them to come out. So really, Lightroom should be a pretty simple process. And so that makes it really, really fun. As far as running your own business, there's a lot that you learn in school that will help you as far as working with different people, group projects. Also, just being able to get creative and work outside the lines and do something new and experiment. And then with photography, there's a lot of math and science that goes into it. And so For me, I learned a lot about the camera and the science and the math behind it while I was in college. But you can probably learn this in your schooling now. I took photography classes in college, and I even took film photography, which is photography from way back in the day where they had to develop the negatives and do all of this stuff in the dark room, and it was very hands-on. I took film in college to be able to learn the science behind the camera and how that worked, because you're mixing chemicals and it is very scientific and you're having to do measurements and ratios, but it's really cool and it's so much fun. And so for me, I use a lot of math and science in this field. Also in photography, you're going to be working with lots of different people. You're going to have lots of different clients with different expectations, wants, and in school you end up working with a lot of different people. You meet a lot of different students, and then you work with a lot of different teachers. And sometimes that can be hard because not everybody mixes and mingles really well. But being able to do that and go through school and work with so many different people, it has prepared me to work with different people in the real world and learn how to be able to relate to them and provide a good experience for multiple different types of people. As far as salary range, really with photography and also with running any sort of your own business, it's going to depend on how much work, how much time you want to put into it, and also knowing your value. And so with photography, there's a big range, whereas it can be as low as like, okay, I'm only doing this on the side some and it's $5,000 a year. Or I want to go big, I want to work really hard, and an industry that you can make a lot of money in is weddings. And so I know photographers that make $100,000 a year doing photography. So really the salary range it's really going to be up to you, and it's going to be up to the amount of work that you want to put in and what you want to get out of it. As far as like special training and special skills, again, I feel like I learned a lot of that in college, taking film photography and learning the math and science behind the camera. You really do need to know some math and science going into it. And skills, I think that just being a creative naturally has really helped me, having an eye for things and an eye for beauty. And you know, not everybody's gonna think the same things are beautiful, and so obviously I can't be everyone's cup of tea, but that's why there's so many different photographers out there, because you can find someone who suits your style or also see things the way that you see them. And so as far as special skills, you know, for me going into it, I really just had creativity, and I felt like I had an eye for composition. Why did I choose photography? I chose photography, well, I wouldn't say I chose it. It's funny because I feel like I fell into it. I fell into it in college when I switched my major from business marketing to art marketing. For me, I kind of fell into photography, and as I fell into it, I also fell in love with it. And it became a really wonderful creative outlet for me, where it was kind of hitting all of the points of something I wanted in a career. Whereas I was getting to work with people, I was getting to be creative, I was getting to create my own schedule and manage all of those things. So for me, that's kind of why I chose it, is it's something that I'm really passionate about. I'm really passionate about people, and I'm really passionate about helping people see the beauty in themselves. And one way I can do that is through photography. And so it's something that I just get super excited about, and that's why I chose it. And I think if you guys don't take anything else out of this, just as you grow up and as you're going through school, take notice of the things that bring you joy, take notice of the things that you really like to do, and go after that. Go after the things that bring life to you and bring excitement to you, because those are good things. Terminology I'll use a lot is ISO, aperture, f-stop, and those are all things that go into the camera when you're shooting manually. But with manually, you have more hands-on, and you can choose how much light you want to bring into the picture, how bright you want it to be. Like if you guys notice this video, out here it's blown out, it's brighter. And I chose to do that because I like a brighter setting. I think it's happy. I think it's joyful. And it's also bringing your focus into the things that are in the room. And you're not getting distracted by what's behind me. I'll always say, oh, I need to get my lighting right. And all I'm talking about is getting the ISO, the aperture, f-stop. Just all of those things correct in here to shoot the photograph the way that I want it. So that's kind of all I have for you guys today. I hate that we can't be together and that you guys can't ask the questions that you have. I'm sure some of it's confusing because these are terms that you may have never heard before. But I hope you guys learned something from this, and just remember to do something that you're passionate about. So happy Career Day. Thanks for listening, and have a good day.